Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. Welcome back. Today we'll be using this Lawn Fawn Home for the Holidays stamps and die set, assorted other dies, to make this cute little holiday card. So to start with, I'm going to take this little car and stamp it on this red and white polka dot paper. I'm going to let the paper do the talking for me here. Instead of doing a lot of coloring, I chose patterned paper. Then I'm going to take my little blade here and cut out the windows because the car is so busy. I didn't want these windows to interfere with what's going on outside of the car. I want to be able to see the background paper through here. So I just simply cut those windows out by hand. Then I'm going to use the coordinating Lawn Fawn die, tape that down to my car, and run it through my Sizzix Big Shot machine. I stamped two of these cars because I'm going to make a couple of cards while I'm at it here. But in this video I'm just doing the one to show you how I did this. Alright, now there's a couple of options with your stamps. You can either use the packages or the tree, and I colored those off camera, just on white cardstock. Used various papers, and that's what each one of them would look like on the roof of the car, and I chose to go with the little gifts. Now I'm just going to go into the car here and give it some black tires. This is using a watercolor pencil, but I won't be using any water. I'm just using the deep colors that come in the watercolor pencil. Simply coloring in those tires, and then I'll take a white watercolor pencil, and I'm kind of going over the little tail lights and the headlights because on this red paper it's going to be hard to get any color to show if I don't base it with white first. So you can see I did white, and then I went back over it with a yellow pencil just to give my lights a little color. And that's it for the little car. It's done. So I'll be working on 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base and a mat that was cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I'll use these various papers for my die cuts around this little window. So first I'm going to take a 2 1/4 inch circle die for the window, and then I'll have 2 3/4 inch small scallop and 3 1/4 inch larger scallops to frame out the window. So I simply open up my card. So I'm only working on the front flap, and I'll run that through my die cutting machine to make the window. Again, that's only on the front flap. Okay, so there's our window card. Next, I'll be working on the scallops. I used a green polka dot. I thought would be cute on the front, and then I'll use that same 2 1/4 inch circle die to cut a window out of that scallop piece. And pop that out, so that will go on the front of our card to frame out the window. And then behind that I will use a white scallop. Again, that was the large die, that's 3 1/4 inches, and that too will need to have the window cut out of it. So I simply place that 2 1/4 inch circle die on the white scallop and run it through again, which cuts the exact same diameter used for the window on the front of the card. So there's our white frame and a little green polka dot frame. So from that white that I cut out, I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm cutting a little snowbank. And because it's out of that 2 1/4 inch circle, you'll see that it'll fit perfectly on this green scallop that I'm going to use on the inside of the card. So I took a little blue piece that looked like it had snow on it and put that on there. Now I'm going to be using my Cuttlebug bow die. This cuts out the cutest little bow. So what I'm doing is getting all my die cuts done, and then I'll move on to finishing up the card here in a second. Okay, there's the pieces for our bow. Now back to the inside of the card. there's that blue paper that looks like it has little snowflakes on it. This is going on the inside, so I'm adhering it to that solid green polka dot scallop circle. Then I'm taking my little snowbank that I hand cut, and it'll fit perfectly in the bottom because it's from that 2 1/4 inch circle die. So there's my little snowy bank. And I'm going to tuck my car in so that the back wheel is behind the snow and the front wheel is over the snow, so it looks like it's coming over a hill. Get my car all adhered down. Looks good there. While it's still wet, I'm going to add my packages on the top of my car, and I kind of tuck it in under the roof there, making sure that it does not show through the windows that I cut out. So now you see why I cut out those windows. I want to see the snow through the car windows. Okay, so I line that up with my front window, and it goes in pretty easily because I can feel where that 2 1/4 inch circle is. So I just line that up, glue it, close the back over it, and it goes right in the center of that window cutout. Okay, now I get all the pieces put on the front of my card, just to frame out my little scene through the window. Here we go. Now for the green polka dot scallop. Goes right over the white. Perfect. Right. Now I'll move on to the inside of my card, and I'm just going to add some little zigzags of this glue. I'm not doing a solid cover of that snowbank because I want it to look like natural snow. And then I take some Prisma blue. It's very fine glitter. I'll tap that out over my squiggles. And I use a coffee filter to catch my glitter so that I can put it back in the jar, the excess. Back in the jar when I'm through glittering up my card. Goes right back in there. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is use archival ink. This is watering can, and it's a dark gray. And I'll be using my Misty to help me with the inside sentiment. Again, the sentiment is from the Lawn Fawn Home for the Holidays stamp set. And it says Season's Greetings. And I'll set that right there. Close my Misty. Grabs the stamp. I can ink up my stamp and get it in the exact position where I wanted it. Now back to the bow. I didn't want to do this before I did the inside of the card just because there's some dimension here. So you just take those little tabs, fold them over, glue them down to the back of the bow. I kind of push them back a little bit so I know how much glue to add. I don't want to go down into the bow part, just the tabs. And then I'll take that long piece and it wraps around your bow over to the back side. Glue that down. And I use my spring-loaded tweezers, which are great, to kind of hold that in place while it dries. And it dries very quickly with this tacky glue. Then I take my bone folder and give the little ribbon a curl. Now that glue's dry, so I can put a good blob on the back of here and add it to the ribbon. And I'll do the same thing with my little spring-loaded tweezers to hold it, to give it a little chance to dry. And you can see how cute and dimensional that bow is. So now that it's dry, I'm going to be pretty generous here with my glue and put it right under that scallop on the front of my card, giving it a press underneath, just right under the bow part, and there is our card. And then I also lined an envelope to coordinate with the card and There you go. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you got inspired to give it a try, and that it might have brought you some holiday cheer. We're right on the cusp of the holidays here. If you like this, please feel free to subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I hope you'll come back and visit me again real soon. Enjoy the holidays, everybody, and happy crafting.